Sometimes one simple trick is enough to change your entire routine. Whether it's a pan that never burns again, clothes that stay fresh longer, or a money-saving tip your wallet will thank you for. Here are the household hacks that make life smarter, and you'll regret not knowing them earlier. A slice of apple to soften hardened brown sugar. For those who forgot to store their brown sugar properly and ended up with a rock-hard brick, the 1970 solution was simple: adding a slice of apple to the sugar container. The natural moisture in apples slowly transferred to the hardened sugar, softening it without making it overly wet. People typically used a fresh apple slice, placing it inside the container for several hours or overnight, and by the next day, the sugar would be restored to its soft, scoopable form. This hack was especially useful for households that didn't frequently use brown sugar and found it hardened in the pantry over time. The method worked similarly to the bread trick, but was often faster since apples contain more water. However, the apple slice had to be removed before it spoiled, usually after 24 hours. This clever moisture restoration technique is still recommended today, especially for those looking for a natural, chemical-free way to revive hardened sugar.
Rubbing wax paper on wooden drawers to make them slide easier.
In the 1970s, many homes had wooden furniture with drawers that would get stuck due to humidity, wear, or age. But what if there were an easy way to fix this without using heavy tools or chemicals? Instead of struggling with stiff drawers, people discovered a simple hack: rubbing wax paper along the tracks to help them slide smoothly. The wax coating on the paper acted as a natural lubricant, reducing friction and making it easier to open and close drawers without forcing them. This trick worked well for old dressers, kitchen cabinets, and wooden desks that didn't have modern metal glides. Some even used a bar of soap or candle wax for a similar effect. Since wax paper was inexpensive and already found in most kitchens, it became a go-to solution for furniture maintenance. This hack remains useful today for those with vintage or antique wooden furniture, offering a chemical-free and cost-effective alternative to commercial lubricants while preserving the integrity of the wood.
Newspaper for streak-free windows.
Cleaning windows with newspaper was a widely used hack in the 1970s. Instead of using paper towels, which could leave lint and streaks, people repurposed their old newspapers along with a homemade cleaning solution made of vinegar and water. The slightly abrasive texture of newspaper helped break down dirt, grease, and water spots while absorbing excess liquid, leaving the glass sparkling clean. Many believed that the ink in newspapers had additional cleaning properties, though this is debated. Since newspapers were readily available in most households, this was a cost-effective and eco-friendly alternative to commercial glass cleaners. This hack was especially popular among homemakers looking to save money and reduce waste. While newspaper printing methods have changed over time, making this trick less effective today, it remains one of the most nostalgic and well-remembered cleaning hacks from the era. Some still swear by it, using it on car windshields or glass furniture.
Rubbing bar soap along zipper teeth to make zippers glide better.
A stuck zipper can be frustrating, whether it's on a jacket, a pair of jeans, or a purse. But did you know that a simple bar of soap could be the solution? In the 1970s, many people used this easy fix, rubbing a bar of dry soap along the zipper teeth to make it glide smoothly. The soap acted as a mild lubricant, reducing friction and helping the zipper move without snagging. This trick was particularly useful for metal zippers, which were more common before plastic ones became widespread. If the zipper was still difficult to move, people would run the zipper up and down a few times after applying the soap to spread the residue evenly. Some also used candle wax, graphite from a pencil, or petroleum jelly as alternatives. This hack was especially popular among families with kids, as stuck zippers on school jackets and backpacks were a common annoyance. Today, this old-school trick is still recommended for fixing zippers quickly without the need for special products.
Using a spoon handle to keep a pot lid from boiling over.
One of the most frustrating kitchen mishaps is when a pot of boiling water or soup suddenly spills over, making a mess on the stove. But is there a simple way to stop this from happening? In the 1970s, many home cooks used a clever trick, placing a wooden spoon across the top of the pot. The idea was that the spoon would break the surface tension of the rising bubbles, preventing them from overflowing. Since wood doesn't conduct heat as quickly as metal, it remained cool enough to disrupt the boiling process without warping. This method worked particularly well when boiling starchy foods like pasta, rice, or potatoes, which tend to create excess foam. While not 100% foolproof, it was an easy, no-cost way to reduce kitchen spills before modern induction stoves with automatic boil sensors existed. Many people still use this trick today, proving that sometimes the simplest kitchen hacks are the most effective in saving time and cleanup.
Hairspray to remove ink stains.
In the 1970s, hairspray wasn't just used for keeping voluminous hairstyles in place, it was also a secret weapon for removing ink stains from clothes, furniture, and even walls. The key ingredient was the high alcohol content found in older hairspray formulas, which acted as a solvent to break down ink. If someone accidentally got ink on their shirt pocket, they could spray a generous amount of hairspray onto the stain, let it sit for a moment, and then blot it away with a clean cloth. This trick worked particularly well for ballpoint pen ink, which was common at the time. However, as aerosol hairsprays evolved in later decades, companies reduced the alcohol content to make formulas less drying for hair, making this hack less effective today. Despite that, many people from the 70s still recall using hairspray as a quick stain remover, and some still keep an old-school can on hand just in case. Placing sweaters in a plastic bag in the freezer to reduce shedding. In the 1970s, many households discovered a clever way to reduce sweater shedding, placing them in a sealed plastic bag and leaving them in the freezer overnight. But how does freezing actually help prevent shedding? This method was particularly useful for wool and synthetic blend sweaters that tended to shed lint and fuzz onto other clothing. By freezing the fibers, the shedding process slowed down, preventing excessive pilling and keeping sweaters looking new for longer. The science behind this trick was that cold temperatures tightened the fibers, making them less likely to loosen and break off during wear. Some people also use this method before washing a new sweater to minimize lint transfer onto other clothes. Freezing was especially effective for fluffy or fuzzy materials like angora, mohair, and cashmere, which were popular in the 70s. While modern fabric treatments have helped reduce shedding, this old-school hack remains useful for those who want to maintain delicate sweaters without excessive lint buildup.
Using pantyhose to dust. Hard to reach places.
Before microfiber cloths and modern dusters, people in the 1970s found a creative way to tackle dust buildup, using old pantyhose. Since pantyhose were made from fine, static-attracting nylon, they were perfect for picking up dust from delicate surfaces, electronics, and hard-to-reach areas like behind furniture or between blinds. Homeowners would slip an old pair of pantyhose over their hand and use it as a flexible dusting mitt, allowing them to reach corners and small spaces with ease. The lightweight fabric also made it ideal for cleaning fragile items like glass figurines, chandeliers, or television screens without scratching them. Some even stretched pantyhose over the end of a broomstick to dust ceiling fans and cobwebs in high places. Since pantyhose were inexpensive and widely available, this hack became a household favorite. While modern dusters have largely replaced this trick, some still use pantyhose for dusting due to their lint-free and reusable properties. Using vinegar as a fabric softener and cleaner. White vinegar was a staple in many American households in the 1970s, serving as an all-purpose cleaner, disinfectant, and fabric softener. But how did something as simple as vinegar become such a household essential? In laundry, adding a cup of white vinegar to the rinse cycle helped soften clothes without the need for chemical-laden fabric softeners. It also helped remove detergent residue, reduce static cling, and prevent colors from fading. Besides laundry, vinegar was widely used as a natural cleaner for kitchen surfaces, coffee makers, and even wooden furniture. A mix of vinegar and water was commonly used to mop floors, clean glass, and deodorize the refrigerator. Many households also relied on vinegar for unclogging drains when combined with baking soda. Since it was inexpensive, chemical-free, and widely available, it became a go-to cleaning solution for frugal and environmentally conscious families. Decades later, Vinegar is still recommended as a natural alternative to commercial cleaning products, making this hack one of the most enduring from the 1970s.
Adding a pinch of salt to coffee grounds. In the 1970s, many coffee lovers discovered a simple trick to reduce bitterness in their morning brew: adding a small pinch of salt to the coffee grounds before brewing. This hack was particularly popular among those using percolators or drip coffee makers, where over-extraction sometimes resulted in a strong, bitter taste. The science behind this trick lies in how salt interacts with taste buds. It counteracts bitterness by suppressing certain flavor receptors, allowing the natural sweetness and richness of the coffee to come through. Unlike sugar, which only masks bitterness, salt chemically balances the flavor, making even lower quality coffee taste smoother. People who brewed strong, dark roasted coffee often found this trick especially useful. The key was moderation. Too much salt could overpower the coffee's natural flavors. While modern coffee brewing methods have improved taste control, many coffee enthusiasts still swear by this old-school trick as a simple, no-cost way to improve their daily cup of coffee: boiling water and baking soda for clogged drains. In the 1970s, before chemical drain cleaners were as commonly used as they are today, many households turned to a natural and inexpensive solution: baking soda and boiling water. This method worked as an effective way to clear minor clogs caused by grease, soap scum, or food debris. The process was simple. First, people would pour a generous amount of baking soda, about half a cup to a full cup, directly into the clogged or slow-draining sink. Then, they would slowly pour boiling water down the drain. The heat from the water helped loosen grease buildup, while the baking soda worked to break down debris and absorb odors. For tougher clogs, some people added vinegar after the baking soda, creating a fizzy chemical reaction that further loosened blockages. This hack was especially popular in homes with older plumbing, where harsh chemical cleaners might damage pipes. It remains a widely recommended eco-friendly alternative to chemical drain cleaners today. Just like another clever moisture-saving trick involving celery and bread: coffee grounds to deodorize the fridge. Instead of buying baking soda to neutralize refrigerator odors, many American households in the 1970s repurposed used coffee grounds as a natural deodorizer. The porous texture of dried coffee grounds effectively absorbed unwanted smells from leftover food, strong cheeses, or spilled milk. People would spread used coffee grounds on a baking sheet to dry them out and then place a small dish of them inside the fridge to keep it smelling fresh. This hack was especially popular in households where coffee was brewed daily, making it a free and easily available solution. Some even used coffee grounds as a deodorizer for trash cans, gym shoes, or musty basements. Beyond odor control, coffee grounds were also used in the 70s for gardening, as they enriched compost and repelled pests. Today, this hack still has a following, with eco-conscious individuals using coffee grounds as a natural alternative to chemical deodorizers. Freezing jeans to kill bacteria.
During the 1970s, washing jeans too often was believed to cause fading and shrinkage, so people came up with an unconventional solution: freezing them instead. The idea was that placing jeans in the freezer overnight would kill odor-causing bacteria and refresh them without water or detergent. Since denim was designed to be a durable fabric, frequent washing was discouraged, especially for expensive or dark-wash jeans that people wanted to maintain. To use this hack, jeans were folded and sealed in a plastic bag before being placed in the freezer for several hours. The cold temperatures were thought to eliminate bacteria and neutralize odors, extending the time between washes. While this method didn't remove stains or deep dirt, it was a popular trick for freshening up jeans quickly. Though modern studies question its effectiveness in fully killing bacteria, some denim enthusiasts still use this technique today to preserve the color and shape of their favorite jeans, keeping a brick in the toilet tank to save water. Before the widespread use of low-flow toilets, conserving water was a concern for many American households in the 1970s. One of the most popular DIY solutions was placing a brick inside the toilet tank. The idea was simple. The brick would displace a certain amount of water, reducing the volume used per flush. Since most toilets at the time used significantly more water than necessary, this was a practical and nearly effortless way to cut down on water waste and lower utility bills. However, This hack had some downsides. Over time, the brick could deteriorate in the water, causing sediment buildup that could damage plumbing. Later, people started using plastic bottles filled with sand or water as a safer alternative. While modern water-efficient toilets have largely made this hack obsolete, it remains one of the most memorable frugal household tricks from the era, reflecting the growing environmental consciousness of the time. And that same practical mindset led to clever tricks beyond the bathroom, like using your freezer to keep your favorite sweaters from shedding everywhere.
Turning an old sock into a dusting mitt.
Before microfiber cloths became widely available, many people in the 1970s used old socks as dusting mitts. Instead of throwing away mismatched or worn-out socks, they repurposed them for cleaning by slipping them over their hands and using them to dust furniture, blinds, and baseboards. The soft fabric was gentle on surfaces and could easily reach into crevices that traditional dusters missed. Since socks naturally attracted dust and lint, they were effective at picking up particles rather than just spreading them around. Some people would lightly dampen the sock for an even better dust-grabbing effect. This method was especially useful for cleaning delicate items like lampshades, glass figurines, and framed pictures. After dusting, the sock could be washed and reused multiple times. This hack remains popular today as an eco-friendly, no-cost cleaning solution that reduces waste while making household chores easier, proving that sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective.
Rolling up towels at the bottom of doors to stop drafts.
In the 1970s, many homes had poor insulation, leading to cold drafts sneaking in under doors during winter. To combat this without raising heating costs, families often rolled up towels and placed them at the base of doors to block the cold air. This simple and effective trick helped maintain a warmer indoor temperature, reducing the need to crank up the thermostat. Some people even stitched fabric around a towel to create a makeshift draft snake, which could be easily slid against the door. This hack was especially popular in older homes with gaps under doors or windows, where cold air seeped through. It also worked well in summer to keep hot air from coming in when air conditioning was running. While modern weather stripping and draft stoppers are now widely available, this budget-friendly trick is still used today in homes looking for a quick and easy way to improve energy efficiency without extra costs. Reusing aluminum foil multiple times. In the 1970s, many households stretched their budgets by finding creative ways to reuse everyday items, including aluminum foil. Since foil was considered a kitchen essential but wasn't cheap, families often washed and reused it multiple times before discarding it. If foil wasn't torn or overly greasy, it could be wiped clean, dried, and stored for future use. People reused foil for everything from covering leftovers to lining baking pans, wrapping sandwiches, and even sharpening scissors by folding and cutting through it. Some families smoothed out used foil and repurposed it as a drip catcher in the oven or as insulation for small DIY projects. It was also commonly used in crafts, homemade decorations, and even as makeshift TV antenna enhancers. While disposable culture has become more prevalent, eco-conscious households today still practice this hack to reduce waste and get the most out of every sheet of aluminum foil before tossing it. Baking soda for deodorizing carpets. In the 1970s, many households relied on baking soda as a natural and affordable solution to eliminate carpet odors. Unlike commercial carpet deodorizers filled with artificial fragrances, baking soda worked by actually absorbing smells rather than masking them. People would sprinkle a generous amount of baking soda directly onto their carpets, letting it sit for at least 15 to 30 minutes, or even overnight for stronger odors, before vacuuming it up. This method was particularly effective in homes with pets, cigarette smoke, or lingering food smells from cooking. The fine particles of baking soda penetrated deep into carpet fibers, neutralizing unpleasant scents without leaving a residue. Some homeowners even mixed baking soda with a few drops of essential oil for a mild, fresh fragrance. This hack became a staple in American homes during the 1970s and is still widely used today as an eco-friendly and budget-conscious way to keep carpets smelling fresh. And when it came to freshening up more than just carpets, people got creative.
with some even turning to their freezers to clean and refresh their favorite pair of jeans. Salt and lemon to clean cutting boards. During the 1970s, many American households avoided chemical-based cleaners and instead turned to natural, kitchen-friendly alternatives like salt and lemon to clean wooden cutting boards. Since wooden cutting boards absorb food particles and bacteria over time, they needed deep cleaning beyond a simple rinse. The method was simple. People would sprinkle coarse salt over the surface of the cutting board, then cut a lemon in half and use it as a scrubber, rubbing the salt into the wood. The lemon's natural acidity acted as a disinfectant, breaking down stains, eliminating bacteria, and neutralizing strong food odors like garlic or onion. The salt provided gentle abrasion to lift stubborn residue without damaging the wood. After scrubbing, the board would be rinsed with warm water and left to dry completely. This hack was particularly useful in homes where plastic cutting boards weren't yet widespread, and it remains a go-to method today for those who prefer natural, chemical-free cleaning solutions. Want to see more hacks? Keep watching because you won't want to miss these.
White vinegar as a fabric softener.
In the 1970s, white vinegar was a go-to solution for softening clothes naturally without the use of commercial fabric softeners. Many people preferred this method because vinegar helped break down detergent residue that could leave fabrics feeling stiff. By adding about half a cup of white vinegar to the rinse cycle, laundry came out softer, fresher, and free from buildup. Another advantage was that vinegar reduced static cling, which was especially helpful in winter months when synthetic fabrics like polyester and nylon generated more static. Unlike store-bought softeners that contained artificial fragrances and dyes, vinegar was gentle on sensitive skin and hypoallergenic. Despite concerns about odor, the vinegar smell disappeared once clothes dried. Additionally, it acted as a natural deodorizer, helping remove stubborn smells from sweat, smoke, and mildew. Over time, this method remained popular among those seeking an eco-friendly and cost-effective alternative to chemical-laden fabric softeners, making it a lasting household hack even today. Keeping a jar of bacon grease for cooking. In the 1970s, throwing away bacon grease was almost unheard of. Many households kept a dedicated jar by the stove to store the leftover fat for future cooking. Since bacon grease was rich in flavor and versatile in the kitchen, it was commonly used in place of butter or oil for frying eggs, sautéing vegetables, or seasoning cast iron pans. The grease was often strained through a coffee filter or cheesecloth to remove solid bits before being stored in a glass jar or metal tin. Many Southern and Midwestern families even used it as the secret ingredient in biscuits, cornbread, or gravy, adding a smoky depth of flavor to homemade dishes. While health concerns about saturated fats later led to a decline in this practice, some home cooks still swear by bacon grease as a flavorful and natural cooking fat. Today, it has made a comeback in gourmet and nostalgic cooking circles as a way to enhance dishes without waste. Aluminum foil to sharpen scissors. Before easy-access knife sharpeners became common in households, a simple trick people used in the 1970s to sharpen dull scissors was cutting through aluminum foil. Over time, regular use of scissors, especially on paper and fabric, caused the blades to lose their sharpness. Instead of replacing them or paying for professional sharpening, people took a sheet of aluminum foil, folded it several times to create a thicker layer, and made multiple cuts through it with the dull scissors. The slight abrasiveness of the foil helped realign the blade edges and remove minor burrs, improving the cutting performance. This method was particularly useful for craft scissors and kitchen shears, which were often dulled by frequent use. Some even experimented with cutting fine grit sandpaper for extra sharpening power. While it's not as effective as professional sharpening, the aluminum foil trick remains a quick and budget-friendly way to maintain scissors for everyday use. And speaking of everyday fixes, another clever household trick from the past involved nothing more than a sheet of wax paper to make stubborn wooden drawers glide like new. Celery in bread bags to keep it fresh longer. In the 1970s, people used a surprising trick to keep bread from going stale, placing a stick of celery inside the bread bag. Since store-bought bread contained preservatives, it generally lasted longer than homemade bread, but once opened, it could dry out quickly. Celery, with its high water content,
released a small amount of moisture inside the bag, helping keep the bread soft without making it soggy. The best part was that celery itself doesn't have a strong odor or flavor, so it wouldn't affect the taste of the bread. Many homemakers swore by this hack as a way to extend the freshness of loaves without refrigeration, which was known to make bread dry and tough. The celery trick worked particularly well for sandwich bread, which needed to remain soft. While this hack has become less common due to improved packaging and bread preservatives, some people still use it today for artisan or homemade bread.
Putting bread in a brown sugar container.
One of the most popular kitchen hacks in the 1970s for keeping brown sugar soft was placing a slice of bread inside the sugar container. Since brown sugar contains molasses, it tends to dry out over time, forming hard clumps that make it difficult to scoop or measure. By adding a slice of fresh bread, the sugar absorbed just enough moisture from the bread to stay soft and usable without becoming too wet. This method worked well because bread holds moisture but doesn't release excessive humidity, preventing mold. People often used the heel of a loaf, since it wasn't as commonly eaten, making it a practical solution. After a day or two, the hardened sugar would loosen, and the bread could be replaced as needed. This simple trick became a staple in American kitchens and is still used today by bakers and home cooks who prefer a natural way to keep their brown sugar fresh without using special containers or commercial moisture packs. Using a rubber band to remove a stripped screw. Dealing with a stripped screw, where the grooves in the head are worn down and the screwdriver can't grip properly, can be incredibly frustrating. In the 1970s, a simple household trick emerged, using a rubber band to regain grip and remove the stubborn screw. The technique was easy. A wide, flat rubber band was placed over the screw head, and then a screwdriver was pressed firmly into it while turning. The rubber filled in the worn-down grooves, giving the screwdriver extra traction to loosen the screw. This hack worked especially well for soft metal screws found in furniture, electronics, and household repairs. If the rubber band method didn't work, people sometimes use steel wool or cut a notch into the screw head with a hacksaw to create a new grip. While modern tools like screw extractors now exist, the rubber band trick remains a go-to solution for quick, no-cost DIY fixes.